Okay, so we are live on YouTube too. Okay, good. So, hello everyone. My name is Obasanjo Fajem, and I am so excited to be here today and really looking forward to this wonderful session. I have with me some great panelists who will be sharing with us today every single thing we mentioned that we will be discussing. And it's a great session that we all are going to have today. We had our first session last week, and we had a very incredible conversations with young people, and a lot of them shared quite some good insights and really, really good stuff. And we are so excited to have each and every one of you here today also. So just checking again for the last panelist. Okay, I think he's yet to join the call. Area Dafe, if you're on the call, please let me know. You're the last person I've not added to the panelist list. Okay, so my name is Obasanjo, and I am a PhD student from Purdue University. Particularly, I'm studying curriculum and instruction, which is the other name for curriculum studies also in Purdue University. I am majoring in curriculum studies, and it's glad to convene this event for everyone. And with me, I have so many um, great people on the call, young people who are making strides in the United States and making names. So I'll just try to go around for them to introduce themselves first. Just feel free to share anything you want to share in 2 minutes. I'll be starting with Mr. Abiodun Akibaso. Then I'll go to Miss Beliki Badumosi. Then I'll go to Lucky, Mr. Lucky. Your surname is very strong, so I'll just say Mr. Lucky. Thank you so much. So, yes, Mr. Abiodun, you can unmute and introduce yourself. Let's start with that.
Um, Hi everyone, good morning from here. Am I audible? All right, good morning from here. My name is Abiodun Akingaso, and don't mind me putting on my African attire. I like to represent Nigeria, and I also have a wedding I'm attending today, so I want to go and eat some party jollof rice. So, I had my master's in supply chain management, St. Louis University. I graduated this May. And currently, I work for a biotech pharmaceutical company called Thermo Fisher Scientific, and I'm a manufacturing support coordinator. Which is how you want to say about ourselves, or what else you need?
It's good. That works.
Okay.
That works. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
All right. I'm from Nigeria.
Oh, we know. From the attire, we know. Yeah, nice to have you. And thank you for taking out your time to join us today, even though there's Owambe waiting for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we'll go to Miss Belikisu, Miss Belikis Badamosi.
Hi everyone. Good day, good afternoon. So my name is Balikis Badamasi. I'm a master's slash PhD student in sociology at Kent State University. I also had my bachelor's degree in sociology from Lagos State University, and I am pleased to be here to share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Welcome, welcome. I think I'm the only one not in African attire today. I think I need to go and change. So let's go to Mr. Lucky.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the time is, wherever you are. Um, Obasanjo, I don't think you're the only one. I think I'm also on normal plane here and all of that. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. And my name is Lucky. Yeah, my surname is I'm Igbo, and I have a strong surname, like you mentioned. Yeah, so I had my undergrad at Abia State University in English Language and Literature. After that, I proceeded to the University of Nigeria for a master's degree in oral literature. Then I am here at Arkansas State University for a PhD degree in in heritage studies with a specialty emphasis on folklore. And I am convinced that as many of us are on the call to be able to glean insights and get direction for the coming application cycle. I want to say in the right place. I was part of I was around for this STEM session. I just breathed in silently and heard, and I can say that you're in the right place. And I'm sure that by the time you listen and take notes and discipline yourself to do what you'll be told here, you'll be fine. And we welcome you to the US come the next cycle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for saving me from the African attire. Now I'm feeling comfortable. So we'll go to the fourth panelist, Mr. Henry.
Hi, you.
Yes, yes. Okay, welcome. I know you just joined. I know you're having
Yeah,
some few tech issues.
yeah.
Finally, we're able to sort that. Can you just introduce yourself briefly, what you're
Okay.
studying, and share with the people before we dive in?
Okay. My name is Henry Dafe Golo. I am a master's student studying retail innovation at University of South Carolina. I had my undergraduate degree in English and literature from University of Benin, and I'm currently studying for my master's postgraduate studies.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So to our audience, welcome again, once again to the non-STEM session. What this session is about is basically to provide you with guide that will help position you to make your application successful. Either you're applying for 2026 fall session or 2027 or preparing for 2027, you are in the right place. And this is a non-STEM focus session where we'll be sharing tips and tricks and facts on how we were able to navigate this process. Please note, we will not be diving into core components such as visa because we are not legal practitioners. We would not also be doing visa advice. So I know the last session we were having questions around, oh, visa, what if I got admission and visas? Or we are just here to guide you in the application process, and particularly strictly advisory role, and just telling you, okay, this is our experience, this is what we learned, this is how we went through it, and this is what you can also do. So it's going to be in a panel session, and I'm going to be sharing, reading out questions, and also tagging, calling on different panelists to answer them as time goes on. Thank you, and feel free to put in your questions in the chat box as time goes on. We will also take 30 minutes into the session. We'll start taking sessions for questions from the chat box, and also allow some of you to unmute yourself. So we are going to start with this. So what personal or professional experience has shaped your decision to pursue a graduate degree, especially in a non-STEM field abroad? I know when I was applying, there's all these things of if you did not apply for STEM, what are you coming to do in school? Or you will not get scholarship, or you will not get admission. They are only looking for science people in the United States. United States, aviation, robotics, AI, and all those myths that have been shared or myths. And so what are your personal or professional experience that shaped your decision to pursue that course you are studying? And I'm going to start with the ladies first in the house, Miss Bellikis.
Okay, so for me, grad school has always been like something very personal to me. Like I've always wanted to uh do my master's or my PhD abroad. And what stemmed that decision for my course and not switching my courses, because sociology as a discipline is like very broad and diverse. You can actually study a lot of things within sociology. So I find it interesting. And what I'm currently doing here is the sociology of mental health, which it's very unique as a discipline, which most people do not know that something like that exists. So it was like a personal journey for me. I really wanted to like go further with my studies. I didn't want to do my master's or my PhD in Nigeria, and I wanted to. It was just like I was building myself all through my university days that I wanted this, and I was also making sure that my CGPA was actually on track to be able to pursue these goals that I had in mind. So that was it for me. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. I think this is the first time I'm also hearing out how sociology links to mental health. It's also the first.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, quite unique, quite unique. Okay, so I'll go next to Mr. Lucky? Yes.
Okay, so what shaped my decision to apply for a graduate degree abroad? So, I want to start by saying that my decision was not influenced by incompetence in Nigeria. No, no, not at all. Because, like I said, I had my MA from the University of Nigeria, as we all know, one of the top institutions in the country. I made the distinction from that. But and I was also offered the PhD admission too for my oral lecture PA. But then what the first thing was I looked at the trajectory of my career, the trajectory of what I want to do with the degree. I'll just give us a slight instance. I was once fortunate to be in a professor's proposal where he was trying to propose a particular theory. And very, very wonderful. I won't go into details now because it's field specific. Very wonderful presentation. And then at the end, other professors and panelists were there and they were like, this is wonderful. And it can fly, but however, it needs to be exposed to an international audience. I'm like, international audience. So it's not international audience, such as a sitting or a gathering in the United States. I'm like, hmm. So a sitting, a gathering in the United States is required as international audience. One country can be international audience. I'm like, okay. Then number two, so first of all, it is so to put in a nutshell, the world acclaim, the global acclaim of educational institutions in the United States and where I want to go to, I see myself becoming a professor of folklore at some point in my life. So that word acclaim of the institutions that are here. That's the first one. The second one is also the educational system. Now, when I say educational system, I don't mean the incompetence of the educational system, but the incompetence of the structure. I give you an instance. I got into my MA in 2019. I was meant to finish in 2021. I finished in 2023, not of my own making, but if you recall, 2020 was COVID-19, I'll be there about, yeah? 2021 was 9 months after strike. 2022, I now began my program proper. So I spent 4 years on my MA, not of my own making, but due to the incompetence of the Nigerian educational system. I told myself for a PhD, only God knows what will happen. And I think that after it's on strike now as we speak, if I'm not mistaken. All of these things, I got disillusioned because during that 4 years, I was like, what is going on? And all of that. So I got tired of it and I said, no, enough is enough and I'm done with this. I want to go somewhere that's a working system where I can get that global acclaim. I'm going to spend 3 years. 3 years is 3 years at my discretion. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that is deep. That is it. 4 years masters instead of 2 years in
My
Nigeria is
brother, you know easy.
something else. Yes, trust me. I don't know. I don't know about that. Yes. And I'm going to be going next to Mr. Biodun, but this time I want to add another question to it. So while you talk about what professional or personal experience shaped your decision, also how did you identify the program, that right program you're applying for in that university? Because most of you are mentioning programs that are quite unique. Like Belikis mentioned, the sociology and mental health is quite a unique combination. But how did you even identify this program or the university that you applied for in the United States? So let's go with Mr. Biodun, then we'll go to Mr. Henry, then we can take other panelists too.
All right, thank you, OBJ. And then I didn't mention that OBJ and I we went to the same undergrad school. I finished from Adekunle Jackson University on the States. And I'm also at my MBA in Unilag. So back to what Lucky said, I like what Lucky said, that it's not because of the incompetency in the Nigerian education system, because I also did an MBA in Unilag. So what's kind of shaping my decision? So I used to work for Ikeja Electric in Nigeria, the different NEPA. So I work more in the distributing part of the business. I mean, Ikeja Electric, basically we distribute electricity energy to our consumer, both our MD and our non-MD consumer. And I recognize the presence of one of my colleagues here on the call. Is one of we used to work together as a senior engineer in Ikeja Electric. So, and that's kind of shaping my decision because I mean, I had my master in supply chain management, and then supply chain management is something that will function in every businesses, in every organization, no matter how small your business is, no matter how big your business is. So apart from my career prospect, apart from my professional prospect, right? Basically, I looked into the future. And now this is one advice I used to give people. I know we all want to jackpot the regular term, but even though you really want to travel, you want to leave your country, right? Make sure that decision is worth it. every field, every courses has their own unique points. But make sure that whatever you want to do, how can you channel this? Like once you're done with school, like how easy is it for you to get something doing? I'm not trying to brag though, but I mean, I finished my course in the month of May, and basically this is my fourth job. I used to work for Amazon. I resigned from Amazon some few weeks ago. Now I'm working in one of the, biotech companies. So my experience back in Nigeria working in the electricity sector, I was so interested in knowing how the supply and distribution works. And that was why I picked supply chain management. And then, I feel like that actually helped me during my visa interview. Just like I'm not trying to speak on visa interview basically because I remember one of the questions was like, why supply chain management? So I was able to just link and be like, okay, I currently work with Kija Electric, and we are trying to expand to other West African country, basically. So I need this degree so that when the company expands, it's going to give me an advantage, a better advantage if I choose to come back to the company. Because whenever you go for a visa interview, they want to have a reason, like they want to give them a reason why you're coming back to your country after you're done with your program. So my professional experience, and then I look at the future, and basically I've always wanted to be like a process optimization officer. Like I want to look into a process and break it down. Do you understand? So that was one of the reasons why I picked supply chain management. So basically, my past experience and then what I really want to do, I want to be interested in how the goods and services flow from the raw material, purchase down to the final consumer. So make sure that whatever you want to choose kind of tally with what you've done before, right? What you're currently doing or what you would like to do in the future. It really helps a lot, especially when it comes to your visa interview. Did I answer the question, OBJ?
Oh, yes, you did. Thank you so, so much. So your past experience connecting it to the future helped you a lot to shape your experience and strengthened your application, including your visa application, which was very good that you mentioned that because a lot of people have the challenges connecting the dots when they go for
Yes.
visa applications after getting their admissions and all that. We have been hearing various stories around that. So thank you so much on that. So we'll be going to Mr. Henry on the same question.
Yeah. What shaped my own selection for my course of study? I do get the question that you studied English language and literature. How come you're studying masters in retail innovation? So I actually have owned a business. I've always wanted to like have a business degree. So working as a researcher, I write research papers and help people with their research. So when I wanted to pursue graduate studies, I wanted a degree in communication studies. So I applied to multiple schools, but admissions were coming, but the funding wasn't coming. So I went out to using the cold email strategy. I sent cold emails to some professors and I got replies. But there's this unique reply I got from my current professor. She told me she had a graduate assistantship, but I will have to apply to their program. I was like a retail innovation. I went for that to do a research about the program, and it was actually something I would love to do. Business, technology, how to help businesses grow and reach their target audience. So that shaped my selection for the course. And then your second question was on, sorry, can you bring the second question up?
Oh, yes, yes. What are the experiences that help strengthen your application?
Okay. I had to improve on my CV. That was one important aspect for every non-STEM student. Your CV should be able to sell you among the rest applicants that are applying for the program. I had to take on volunteering positions where I volunteered as a promoter for stutter awareness. I imputed all this in my academic CV, and some persons will say, oh, your CV shouldn't be more than 3 pages. Your CV shouldn't be more than 4 pages. But for me, I believe that every relevant experience should be on the CV, because you never can tell what the admission committee will be looking out for and what could catch their attention towards your application. So that was an aspect that improved my application process. I also had to undertake research publications because I was going for health communication. So I made 2 research papers. I went for that too. I didn't have a good grade. Something I'm not proud of for my undergraduate. I didn't have a good grade, so I had to take the WES evaluation. I had to evaluate my transcript. I also had to write the GRE examination to make up for the deficits. So I think those strengthened my application.
Oh, great, great. I love a lot of things that you mentioned. First of all, not being having a good grade, because a lot of people always feel, oh, I need to have a first class to get to study abroad or be part of the top student. So I love that you did mention that, so that those on the call will know sometimes it's not about grade, but even if you do not have that good grade, you need to do some things to level up, like do transcript evaluations, do GRE to get an edge. But also you did mention something which I'll be starting the next round of question with, which is cold email. Cold emailing and reaching professors are a core, especially in the United States, on how to get scholarship, how to get admissions, and all that. So, starting with you, Mr. Henry, also staying with you, then we'll move to other panelists around that. How did you reach out to professors? Like, what is that one thing you did in your cold email that helped you stand out? And what are strategies that applicants can adapt in their cold emailing to help them get the attention of their supervisor or the faculty in which they are writing to?
I would say the subject of your email. The subject shouldn't be I need a graduate assistantship. You shouldn't just put yourself like, oh, I need a graduate assistantship. I want to apply to your program, this. You have to first of all create a communication with the professor, go through their profile, read some of the works they've done, and then introduce yourself properly. Tell them why you're interested in their research, why you want to work with them. Also, you can decide to create a meeting with them to like further know about their work. Most professors in the US, they are very open to having meetings with prospective students. So they're not gonna like tell you, oh, I'm not available. They are willing to have a meeting with you. So that's an opportunity for you to sell your potential to them, and hopefully, if you're a good fit for their program, they're gonna tell you to apply. So
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll take that next question to Mr. Lucky. Do you want to jump in on the cold email guide tips?
All right, thank you. So what I'll say about cold emails are a very important aspect of the application. And that's because it's virtually the first footprint that you are able to put of yourself out there before your application comes in. Now, I also think it's important to strike the distinction between us, non-STEM and STEM. Now, there's a difference between the STEM cold email and non-STEM cold email. Because for STEM cold emails, it is my belief that the cold email is playing dual roles, which is the first of putting yourself out there, and number two, putting yourself out there with the sense of seeking funding from that particular professor. I think for STEMs, professors fund them, but for us in non-STEM, the school funds us or the department funds us. So cold emails are very important. So like Henry mentioned, very awesome point. What is your title? Because if you have something that is too wordy or too whatever, they will just, because people get thousands of emails in their box. It's not only you that looking for admission. People are also emailing them for all of these things, right? So the first thing is, so I want to suggest a particular headline that we can use. So you can your title can be Request for Fall Supervision 2026. Simple, very straightforward. Then all your story, say it in the body of the email. I also want to delve briefly into some of the components of what the cold email should be. Number one is, who are you? When it's who are you, don't say I am this, I'm from this. Who are you simply means, what's your name, what's your qualification. First, straight to the point, no too much long story inside. Who are you? qualifications. If you have now, it's not pride to show off your achievements. Remember, you are selling off yourself on a global scale. People are looking for this thing, right? So my name is XYZ. I had my undergraduate in this. I am at the best graduating student. If that's the case for you, put your GGP there in brackets. Put everything out there, right? Then number three, sorry. So who are you? Number one, qualifications. Number two, how does your research interest, um, intersect with their own? Very sure this is the most important part, because so before you do the code image, you should have done the background check on the website to see, you see them there, their names, their institutional affiliation, their work email, and their research interest. They'll put it there. Some people don't put it, some people write about their bio. Take your time to read those things. You see whether it's the person for you or not. So quickly drop on that too. Then you also end on a note of optimism. I look forward to. Then also important to attach a copy of your CV. Some people want to see, okay, these things you are saying, what do you have to, but these are white, for crying out loud. They're not like us where we say anything goes. They want to see the documented evidence of what you've said. If you can attach your CV too, very important. I hope I look forward to sharing a copy of my CV, academic CV, so you can see what you look like. I'll share my screen when that time comes, if time permits. So we can see what you look like. You can it's not like your normal work CV, it's different. All right. So that's all about that, and possibly your transcript if you have that, an unofficial copy. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I love how this is going. So I know Mr. Henry talked about the shape and everything. Mr. Lucky has talked about the documents needs to be attached. I really love the fact that you mentioned those documents, which are quite important. So I'll go to Mr. Abiodun, then we'll end with Belikes on it.
Okay, I feel Aaron and Loki has said a lot on that. So one thing I like to do is I like to create an identity for myself, right? Most of those people, they really don't know how to pronounce your name, basically. So when I was reaching out to one of my professors then, I was just trying to create identity so that when I'm on campus, she could know that this was the person that was reaching out to me. So as part of the code email, I attached my SOP, which is my statement of purpose, right? I basically introduce myself and I'll be like, okay, you can call me AB because I know my name might be difficult for you to pronounce. So it's always good for you to just have a funny name for yourself. So that these professors can easily put a name to this person that has been disturbing me all this while, So I attach my SOP. And then one thing I did is say it's always good to have an online professional page, which is your LinkedIn. I don't know. LinkedIn is a very, very important thing you want to work on. So I made sure I follow most of my professors on LinkedIn. They can basically see my lifestyle aside from just emailing them. So it's always good for you to create an online professional identity for yourself, because this process will be like, okay, and mind you, you are not the only ones seeking for this admission. There are millions of applications from Nigeria, from Africa, from out of the world. So you really want to create that identity for yourself. You want to follow them on LinkedIn. It's not like you're trying to stalk them. There's a difference from trying to know somebody than trying to stalk the person. So try to know your professors, the people you will be taking your lectures from, follow them on LinkedIn, try and interact with them once in a while. If they're organizing like a seminar, if they publish something on their LinkedIn, make a comment, like just create that identity for yourself so that your name will always ring at the back of their head and be like, okay, this person feels to be really, really interested in this. So, that was one of my unique selling points. And I don't know if it's important we mention the meaning of STEM or non-STEM. Some might not really know it. So, STEM is courses that are related to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. While the non-STEM are courses, it's not really that they're not related, but America has a way they categorize those courses. So, when your courses is kind of related to science, tech, engineering, and mathematics, those are what the courses we refer to as STEM course. And the non-STEM are those ones that are not directly related to these four unique specialization.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Thank you I think it's even becoming more confusing because I know there are some courses in education currently that are classified under STEM, like learning design and technology are not fully classified under STEM, even though it's under a department or college of non-STEM. Yeah, so those classifications get confusing sometimes. So thank you so much for clarifying that. And also you did mention statement of purpose. but I'm going to come back to that while we take Belikis on the code email. I really want to hear from you, considering that your course is quite unique, the merging, and I know a lot of people did sociology, including even close family members of mine.
Okay, so for me, my experience is totally different because I didn't have to go through the code emailing process during my application time. Because when I sent emails to like some of the professors, then requesting that I want to like join their interest and what they do, they told me that they don't require, like students are not required to send emails to professors because some of the funding process comes from the department. So I didn't spend my time code emailing these professors. And I think what I did differently was the intentionality that comes in writing my SOP. So I feel for every non-STEM discipline, everybody should students should be intentional with how they write their SOP, because that is you introducing yourself and your identity and also your passion. So that was one thing that actually sold for me, was my SOP. And also, before applying to the school, I make sure I message or send emails to the grad coordinator requesting, I like tell them my background. I also attach my CV, a couple of my research experience, and also my transcripts, introducing myself that I want to apply to their school and all like that. And also know the chances, the probability of me with a BSc getting into a PhD program. So things like that, they gave me insights about how the program is, what they are seeking for in candidates and all like that. So that was actually one of the things that exposed me to knowing how the schools were really operating and what they want, what they seek from their students when they are looking at the admission committee and all. So that was it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, but I will be starting again with you because you did mention something that is important, statement of purpose, which you mentioned how you went about it. Just for some information purpose, I started a pool to know how many cold emails you have sent out, and I'm seeing 25% have sent over 10 cold emails, 8% have sent below 5, 25% have sent below 3, 42% have sent out 1, and over 77% of our participants today are interested in master study, with 23% interested in applying for PhD. Just to note, I sent over 50 cold emails, no, inquiry emails, over 50, and around 30 cold emails, because it was quite important to reach out to these professors. And also, just like what Belikis mentioned, inquiry may comes first. You need to ask the credit coordinator, do they even have funding? Do you waive English waivers? Do you require transcripted SOP, what's it called? Transcripts that are converted to US standards or Canadian standards? Do you require these ECA translations or not? But let's talk about statement of purpose, which Belikis has started on. And I just wanted to ask specific question around it. Like, what is that one thing you did in your statement of purpose that made it stand out? Because a lot of time we have seen there are so many samples online. On Twitter alone, you can get over 50 samples, and people get confused. Oh, you will see this is the best Harvard-based sample. This sample got this guy admitted to 5 schools. You just catchy lines. And sometimes when you read them, it looks like AI generated. It looks as if someone just went to prompt AI and just wants to get not clout per se, but maybe followership and get that. So what is that one thing you did in your SOP that made you stand out? And what common mistakes should applicants avoid when doing their SOPs? For me, I always tell applicants, avoid using generic samples. These guys have been reviewing, they review 600, 300. They know once 10 people are using the same sample, they just see the pattern in it. And that way you are not standing out. But I want to hear from each and every one of us. So starting with Belikis.
So for me, I think I'll start with the hardest part was having or trying to find my interest, because I feel like that is one of the stepping stone in grad school. You don't just see everything you want to you want to jump into it. You have to know, like, is it passion related? Is this thing what you want to do? Are you passionate about this? Because that drive is going to show whenever the admission committee is reading it, because there's a way when you write, you're able to communicate your passion to someone and they get to know you and know your identity and know that you're really passionate about it. So I think that is one thing every student should actually develop when writing their personal SOP. Have a drive. Grad school should not be like, oh, it's
you don't even know if this is what you want to do. You just want to do it because people get into grad school. It should be like a drive. So for me, I spent almost several months trying to know what I wanted to do with grad school. And for sociology as a discipline, it's actually very broad and diverse. What I did for my undergraduate studies, my bachelor's, my thesis was far different from what I'm currently doing here, which is the sociology of mental health. It took me a while to understand why do I really want to do mental health. And this is because it has something that it has been like a passion, a long drive for me. I wanted to study something relating to mental health instead of me going to psychology when I knew that I don't want to be focused on the clinical aspect. I wanted something more social. How does our society influence or shape our mental health? So that was it for me. And I went about looking for professors that are working in sociology of mental health to know the novel areas within mental health, because mental health is very broad and which of these novel areas actually aligned with me. So when I finally figured out that, okay, this is what I want to focus on, childhood adversity, I tend to connect it with my personal experience when writing my SOP. So that's, like I said, intentionality. If you're writing your SOP, you should be very intentional about it, because that is the first point the admission committee is going to get to see you and know you better. That drive must be there. So I don't really like to see SOP that students write with growing up, because I feel like it's so generic and people do that writing about growing up. I like to approach my statement of purpose, and whenever I'm writing my statement of purpose, from a problem statement, because that if as a grad student there should be a problem. You're coming for grad school to like solve a problem, right? That is why it's called research oriented. You're here to solve a problem, so you should have a problem statement that someone has not thought about before, and you're bringing it to the mind of the reader. So there should be a problem statement whenever you're writing your SOP, and that's how I approach writing my SOP. A problem statement that is going to make the person think about this problem differently from how they've thought about it. So there should be a problem statement, or start with a research question. Start with something that triggers curiosity, because like I used to tell people when I'm reviewing the SOP, if your first line is not going to allow me to go forward or go further in reading your SOP, that's not a good SOP. Your first line should come with something captivating that it brings about curiosity. I want to go further. I want to read to the end. There's something here. I don't know, probably maybe within the middle of the SOP, it was actually distorted or something, but there's something captivating about the first line that wants me to read further, to know about you. So that is how I tell people when they're writing your SOP, your first line of your SOP should tell me as a reader that I want to get to the end and see what the student is passionate about and what the student wants me to know about them. So intentionality when you're writing your SOP should not be something you just pick out lines from AI and all. Starts with crafting a raw draft, something raw from you, within you. Then if you want to refine it with tools and grammar tools, that is fine, but let it come from within you. Let it come from something that you're very passionate about. Let that intentionality be there. Don't just give AI and say, okay, draft an SOP for me. You as a person, what are you passionate in? What research do you want to do? So for me, for grad school, if I tell people, is this really what you want to do? Sit down before you even start any application process. Tell yourself, this grad school journey you want to pursue, are you really passionate about it? Is this something you want to do? Are you a research-oriented person? Have you always been thinking about problems or certain things you've seen differently? Then you should pursue that intentionally. So that was it for me, and also coupled with my research experience I had in school with working with my professors back then in school. So that built several experience that gave me like the body to building and writing my SOP. So yeah, that was it for me.
Oh, thank you so much. You have really gone deep in that. So I think I'll go straight to Lucky to hear from him on the same question.
All right. I think so. Building on what Baliki said, I think what she was talking about is your voice. What is your voice? What exactly? Because these people, like she said, these people know, like I think somebody said earlier, these people know so many things about this. They've seen so many SOPs and they know generic stuff and all of those things. But when your voice, and that voice now, also to lay on what she said, also that voice too, the way you introduce that voice is very important. So your voice, how can you secure your interest? Not just secure, because it's one thing for you to know what you want to do, It's another thing for you to be able to communicate what you want to do. Those are two different things entirely. Just like oratory that we used to do back then in university. The way you start and the way you end, very important. Your intro and your outro. Because these people are going through bulk. I am this, they drop it. Next. So even if the middle is interesting, if the introduction is not interesting, they drop it. So that being said, I want to talk about the knowledge of the area you want to delve into. Very important because when you know what you want to do, there's a fine balance to be achieved between showing your expertise and doing I too know. I don't know how to explain that, but there's a fine balance to be achieved. You don't have to do too much because you're going to talk about other aspects of yourself and application in the SOP too, but know the subject area. So for instance, for someone like me, what I'm in folklore. So folklore heritage studies. My proposed, even though it's still very early, my proposed thesis is I'm looking at the impact of social media on the preservation of oral heritage. So that means number one, I have to know something about social media first of all, algorithms, and some other small things. Then also folklore. Where is folklore in today's world now? That can form what by talking about your problem statement or your whatever. If it is low, your research can talk about okay, folklore has been abandoned due to factors that may not be unconnected to globalization, technology, et al. All those things like that. So that's one. Knowledge of the subject. Number two, I think this is actually the most important. Why is that thing important? Why should that research be done? So you want to do this thing. What does scholarship have to lose? I think some of these things we've known it from our undergraduate, but it seems like we've just like a rebuff, a reminder. What does scholarship have to lose by that thing not being done? Because for some of us, it's about funding. If that funding is limited, they're going to pick the most attractive and the best proposals that funding will go to. So you have to not just know what you want to do, problematize that thing you want to do. If this is not done, for me, I think a line from my own was that if research is not done, we stand to have a crop of individuals who are disconnected from their ancestry and origin, hence leading to a death of oral cultural heritage, and that would also mean I saw some other things again. So you have to like show why that thing is important, why it must be done. Very important. Then number three, very important to also follow the school guidelines. School will tell you 800 to 1,000 words. Please stay there. School will tell you talk about your motivation. Some will tell you there's so many things on this. Each school has different that's it. Follow the school guideline. You can use one topic for many schools, but you have to follow that one topic to fit the descriptions of the school's websites. You have to remix it, refurbish it per time. So thank you. Yeah, that's what I feel I want to say.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll just take one more person. Who wants to jump on this before we move to the next question?
I want to say something. So
Okay.
there's a trending post that an admission was rescinded because someone went to the internet, downloaded an SOP of another candidate and uploaded it as is. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. Your personal statement or statement of purpose should tell about you, should speak about you and why you want to go to study in the university and why you're passionate about the program. So like Baliki said, the first should be your problem statement. That should be what is driving you to study the program. The second should be your experiences. So most people usually just put their experiences first and then put their problem statement at the last paragraph of the statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose should contain your personal problem statement, which is the first, and then your experiences second. The faculty fit for your program, for your research interests third, and the fourth should just be a conclusion of why you want to study in the university, why the university is the right place for you. for your studies. So I just want to emphasize that personal statements should be about you, should be from your personal end, and not just because you want to go for graduate school or you just want to leave your country and then you just pick up a personal statement from the internet and then refine it with your name and your degree and just submit it as yours. It's not gonna work.
Okay, Mr. Biodun, thank you so much, Henry.
Yeah, let me just add some few things. I mean, we've all spoken well. So just like Erin said, your personal statement, and let me tell you something, right? Be proud of your past achievements. Make sure you have it on your SOP. Don't make it look like you are begging them. Americans really want you. They don't really go to school here in this part of the world. I'm sorry to say that. So don't make it look like you are begging them. Be proud of whatever you've done. Praise your past school. One. Second, make sure you list some of the courses you'll be taking. I mean, you must have researched the course you want to take. Make sure you look at some of the course outline, list them in your SOP. That shows you are really interested in this. And then just like they said, identify a problem. I remember in my own case, I leveraged on COVID-19 because it really disrupted supply chain across the world. And whatever problem you want to identify, make sure it's something that can relate internationally. Don't pick a local problem and put it in there. Make sure it's something that they can relate with internationally. And then one thing I always advise people, make sure that at the end of your statement, let the school know how you want to be an outstanding alumni of that school once you're done with your study. It's very, very important. You don't just want to come there, get from them, and move on with life. Make sure you always state how the school is even going to benefit from you at the end of your program, that you also plan to be an outstanding alumni. Americans don't joke with alumni. I won't lie to you. They don't joke with alumni at all. Once you're done with your program, automatically you are enlisting alumni of that school, and you keep getting meals. I mean, once you're done with schools in America, they won't just throw you away. Your email address will still be active. You'll still be getting notification from them. They'll still be checking up on you once in a while. So make sure you mention that also you want to be an outstanding alumni of the school if you're given that opportunity to be a part of the program.
Okay, thank you so much. Those are really good things. So you have seen a lot of evidence to show that you can make your SOP stronger and a lot of points that have really helped. I will pick a question that was posted that also relates with this. Okay, so someone asked, what's the implication of your research not being done? So I know when they were speaking, most of the panelists mentioned, Mr. Biodun mentioned having a global problem, a problem that might be unique to you, but also having a global influence like the COVID-19 disruption of supply chain. Belikis also mentioned she identifying a personal problem that she now made, was able to connect it with mental health and all that. So to answer that question, I think I'll just speak on that so that we can move. The implications of your research being done is not really severe. You can have a research idea that is not being carried out yet, which is actually what they are looking for. But however, it must be relevant to that field. Your research must be relevant to that field. So you will not just go and pick a research, maybe a research under physics, and say you want to bring it under arts and said, oh, because of it's not being done, is unique, it stands out. No. Is it relevant to that field? So I'm doing a research that has been, a lot of people will say it has been done, but it has not been done in the context I'm doing. So my research is around teacher education, currently bringing in the impact of AI, but mostly in rural Nigeria. That is how my focus is. I'm looking at villages in Nigeria. Why? Because also, just like what Mr. Biodun mentioned, my experiences in the past, I have worked in Teach for Nigeria. I've taught in primary, I've taught in secondary, I've taught in private, I've taught in public schools in Nigeria. And during these my teaching experiences, I noticed teachers vary, their experiences, their quality vary, depending on the level of training that they have or have access to. So this helped me start thinking around how do I help teachers? And even before coming to the US, I was already training teachers. I trained teachers on how to use tech in the field, train teachers on how to use modern methods such as game-based learning or game-based teaching method, project-based learning, and all this has been adapted. So if your research is not being done, it's still a good thing. But however, how relevant it is to that field of interest. When it is relevant, then you can now bring it in. I don't know if one panelist can just pick up on that also and share a view. Do any panelists?
Okay, so I think I'm looking at the chat. I think the person was saying, what's the implication? I think what the person was trying to ask is, what's talking about the implication of research not being done? How do you problematize your research in quotes? So basically, what you are doing is you're trying to show the importance of that thing. And the funny thing is that this is where you play with words, data, and figures. You can prioritize anything. I can say the impact of my not speaking to this Zoom call. It sounds stupid, but better I went to say that we have 28 people on the call. If I don't speak, they cannot hear me. If they cannot hear me, they will feel they're wasting their time. If they are wasting their time, they will leave the call and then the algorithm is going to. It's just about innovativeness. You can problematize anything at all. But then, I won't say problematize anything. Actually, make sure that you have a good structure, which is where your literature review comes in. Do your literature review, know what has been done, see a gap, see a relevant gap that you can fill, and all of those things. But then, problematizing, it just simply means, what does scholarship have to lose if this is not done? What is the impact on society if this is not done? I have to make it sound so odd that the school says, we have to give this guy this thing, so he mitigates this problem from coming forth. So just find a way to problematize, show the urgency, a sense of urgency in your work and why the school has to make it done by admitting you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I hope the person that asked, we have given you responses in two different angles, and thank you, Mr. Lucky, for that. I'm trying to get the person's name. Ayomide, I hope you have your answers. So moving forward, now we have talked about SOPs, we have talked about code emails. Now let's go into the experience part, particularly two basic parts of academic writing experience or professional experience. And I'm going to combine these questions together. First and foremost, how can applicants with limited research or publication experience demonstrate their academic readiness? So most people do not have research papers, have not published work, or even attended conferences. Like, the hustle in Nigeria, a lot of people are going to just get the daily bread, get jobs and work. How can this candidate stand out? And secondly, also, if this is the case, or when this happens, how can they now bring in their professional experience to make it more relevant academically? Let's say someone who has been working 5 years in the professional field, just like what Mr. Abiodun mentioned, he has been working in Ikeja Electric, and he might not, although he didn't mention, let's assume he doesn't have research papers at the time of applying. How can he now translate that experience into the academic field, especially when you're going for masters of thesis or masters of any field in thesis focused, or when you're going for a PhD that is heavily academic in nature? I think this time I'll start with Henry.
Yeah. So for professional experiences, I would say it's a very hard one if you are going for a thesis focused program, because they will require you to have some form of research experience. But what I would advise anyone with limited research experience to do is, in your CV, you have to show that you have some willingness to move into research focused programs. Like, how you relate your experiences in your statement of purpose should be able to tell the admission committee that this person might be able to fit into the program, because they are majorly looking for those who are able to conduct research, right? So if you are not able to prove to them that I will be able to take on this venture, and unfortunately, there's no way you're going to stand out among the tons of applicants that are coming for the program. So you have to build your experiences and relate it to the research interest you are going to undertake. So that's my advice.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go to Belikis.
So I would advise for anyone who doesn't have an experience should start building that experience right now, because if you're going into maybe a master's that requires a thesis track, you have to have those research experiences. It's very important. There's no way you would build your statement of purpose without that, because they want to see that you have that research readiness already. They don't want someone who's too good or who knows how to use the various research tools and all like that, but someone who has experience already. You know the normal step to writing a literature review, you know how to start drafting a research proposal and all like that. So you need to have that experience. So I will advise anyone to take few months to like build that experience. Start talking to your professors in school and ask them, how can you come in their research? Do they have any ongoing research work that you can actually help? You don't need to be paid. You just want to volunteer. You just want to help them. Because I remember when I finished my school, before I even went for my NYC, there was a professor I was working with. He never paid me. I was just using it to build that experience, research experience, because I know that I wanted to go for grad school, and he was related to medical sociology, because I needed to show that, okay, I have some experience in this field at least, because that was what he was doing. So I helped him with some research he was doing. I helped him with the analysis and stuff like that. So you can start building that relationship now. Your relationship with your professors doesn't end in school. If you are going to pursue grad school, you need them. You can get involved with what they are doing right now and build that experiences. That is what is going to help you in building your CV. So the research experience is very important if you're going to go into the thesis track. And for professional experience, if your pursuit for masters is more professionally endowed, I would think that also helps. Probably you're going for an MBA, your professional experience can come in for you, or you're going for disciplines like supply chain or stuff like that. So those can actually help you more than the research skills and all like that. So that's what I would say. Start now. So for anyone who does not have any research experience, they can start now. And there are lots of online research people that actually train people now in research, like Will University or Wale University or something like that. You can actually check that out and start building research, your research experience and all like that. And so yeah, that's what I have to say. Start now.
Thank you. Thank you. The best time to plant a tree is yesterday. The second best time to plant one is today.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
want to add. I want to
Okay.
add to what the last statement she made. Online courses. So there are some online courses on data visualization, methodologies, on how to different methodologies for research, data analysis, SPSS, NVivo. So taking those courses can actually help you prove that you're a better fit for graduate studies, because most research primary studies has to use those data visualization tools and data analysis tools. So that's like a good one. You can opt into online courses for that, Coursera and the rest platforms.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go straight to Mr. Biodun, then we take Mr. Lucky on the same question.
All right, so I want you to know that graduate schooling here is a combination of three things: your academic, your personality, and your contribution to humanity. And Balikis mentioned something I really, really like, which is volunteer. So, I mean, even though you don't have so many years of experience, right, there are some few things you can do. You can start volunteering now, for real. You can throw that into your SOP, you can throw that into your application or package. I mean, you don't really have to get paid for doing everything. Basically, you can intern. I was once a Microsoft intern, and I put that on my resume, and I put that in my SOP. And also, irrespective of whatever you are doing now, try and switch your job title. Try and switch your job role. I mean, look for some terminology, some industry terminologies you can throw into that. I mean, even though you can be a teacher, there's a way you can there's a way you can present your job description and be like, okay, this person is just an ordinary teacher. I'm not trying to throw shade on any teaching. I appreciate every job, I appreciate every discipline. I'm just letting you know that don't live within your own circle. Don't build a prison for yourself. You can redesign your job title. They will not go and confirm this person work as this so at this company. They won't go to confirm. Yes, redesign your job title, redesign your job role, mention some things you know you've done, mention some things you know you are capable of doing, even though you've not done it before in your previous job, and throw that in there. And most importantly, that volunteering is very, very important. If you can intern, if you can do some global interning even without being paid, and if you can publish. I mean, I know there are some there's some WhatsApp group to join. People write research. You can be a co-publisher, you can be a co-researcher. Just make sure you have something enough to throw in there. And just like Baliki said, you starting now is very, very important. Look for things you can do. If you are a philanthropist, probably you donate some NGOs, throw that into your application. Everything you have that can sell you out there, throw that into your application. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's very, very important. That's very, very important. Yes. Even though you work in a non-profit field, for me, I put a lot of my grant winning experience because I write grants, and this actually helped me show my writing skills. So you could demonstrate your writing skills a lot in different ways, depending on what you are doing. And just to also add before Lucky comes in, you can also take those online courses are very, very important. Identify if you're a quantitative researcher or a qualitative researcher, and start knowing the most accepted tool they use in the United States. If you are in the qualitative field, you should start knowing in Vivio or start trying these tools. Put experiences of how you have interviewed people, because these are what qualitative researchers like us do. We interview people. So talk about when you interviewed people previously. You can bring this in. Yes, it might not sound qualitative at the first place, but you are already getting experience interviewing people. And these are what advisors, faculty members want to see. If you are a quant, you should be talking of R and various field, depending on your field. Quant field has a large array of tools, but depending on which field you are in. So if you cannot even write paper immediately, start learning these tools. I have been learning in Vivio for years, even though it's very, very costly to use. But currently, in next month, I'll be having official trainings in my school on how to use in Vivio. And so that is how but just put it in my application that I'm interested in learning this tool actually enhances and shows that interest in learning. And yes, volunteer, please. A lot of time we say, oh, we didn't pay us, we did not pay us. Please volunteer. Volunteer. Ask PhD students in the US, talk to them. Can I write a paper with you? Can I just join you to learn this research process? Most times they in STEM field, we are not so much looking at, oh, you must publish in the top 5 journals or like science field, or in non-STEM field, sorry, like science field, where they want those top publications because of those competitions is that part is very, very fierce there. They actually want to know if you have the basic, because nobody has time to teach you the basic here. You are going to the advanced. So they want to see that base knowledge. You at least know how to write paper, even though it's not yet accepted in a published, a well-known journal. Then we can now upgrade you and get you into a well-known journal or top 5 journal. So, Mr. Lucky.
All right. I think the bulk of the previous speakers have touched everything almost everything. What Baliki said is almost what I have here as well. Start now. So hopefully, like I said earlier, I'll try to show the template of my academic CV I used to apply. There's a section called ongoing research, and there's previous research, and there's ongoing research. Now, that ongoing research is where people that don't have previous research can come in. So then now you can say, I have this ongoing research, and through, please go and start making it ongoing. Because if eventually you get to interview phase or whatever, they tell you, okay, we saw that you said that you're researching on this. Could we possibly see the blueprint of what you've done? I don't have anything. Dot. So that's not about that. So that ongoing research can help you a lot. So at least you are putting yourself out there. Start now. Start now. So, like she said, start now. Start doing some things now. Propose a topic in your head, put it in your CV, and submit it like that. So when they come and okay, so you have this thing going on. So it shows that at least you know what you are doing. You are busy on something. You're not saying, I don't have, I cannot have. There's a difference between I don't have and I cannot have. I don't have, I can have, or I cannot have, all of those things. So that's the first one. Then volunteering too, very important. Here in the US, education is holistic. You can see somebody, I think I met somebody before, said, what's your course? My course is leadership and sports engagement. 4 years course. I'm, I'm like, what kind of, I don't understand. Leadership and sports engagement, that's the intersection between leadership and sports. So here, education is so holistic, so rounded. So even if you don't have papers, okay, mentioned all those things really help a lot too. And then please, if you don't have writing, please have good grades. Because writing is like a buffer. If you have a maybe over 5, you have, let's say, 3.8, 3.7, which is not bad, but is not very, very good for scholarship standard. If you have publications, that can help. Okay, you are halfway academically, you are halfway research, so they can join it together to be able to boost your profile. But then you have poor GP or average GP, you don't have research. Where they won't help you from? So if they don't have research, please and please, if you know you are still maybe in school, you're wrapping up or whatever, or maybe child wants possible to get good grades, it can be overemphasized. When they see 4.7 something over 5, open bracket 95%, it helps you a great deal, right? So that's all about that. And then also conclusively, other forms of engagement. We have some courses like Coursera. I think there's Coursera too. Coursera offers some courses and all of those things, right? Where you can get engaged, you get some certifications within 1-2 weeks, certifications that you can also put in your CV too. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. That was you were on point. You were really on point on that. So I know we have questions in the chat box, but before going to those questions, I wanted us to take one more question from our list, and this is talking about recommendations. Then we'll take the questions in the chat box and go to the other factors. The recommendation letters are quite important, and trust me, choosing recommenders is also another challenge on its own, and getting recommenders. So I know I've had experiences where I met a recommender, and the recommender told me, oh no, you must be part of the top 2 student or top 5% in your class. Yes, and that is just the reality of things. And also there's this debate, should I use academic or professional? Especially for someone who has left school for long. Okay, where do I even get the academic? I'm no more in touch with my faculties, which are sometimes the reality of things. So starting with Lucky, how should applicants consider? What should applicants consider when choosing a recommender? And
Oh,
also, how can they secure strong letters? Like, should they send drafts? How should they even identify? Anything on recommendations? Let me just be there. Are many questions in that.
all right. Very, very important too. Yeah, thank you. So, on the average, most schools require 3 recommendation letters, I think. Most schools, that's the recurrent style. So the first thing I want to say is, please pick someone that knows you. Very important. Pick someone that knows you and pick a kind person. Someone that is kind because, anyways, we'll get into it and we'll see. Because someone that is kind and someone that knows you, and please let me add someone that loves you. I know I'm saying all these things because for someone like me, I applied to 14 schools. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. That means disturbing one person or these people 14 times. A set of people, you can have 9 people, 3 sets for maybe 3 schools, 3 sets for that. But although that can be difficult, though, but overall, please find someone that loves you, find someone that knows your interest, someone that knows you, someone that knows your dream, that knows your drive. So by the time you say, there's another one, the person will come and be like, say, oh, I also wrote one for you last week. I've done 3. I'm tired. That kind of thing is very, very possible. So please find someone that knows you, and importantly, let your supervisor be one of those people. Very important. Let your supervisor, because nobody knows academically like your supervisor. Nobody knows him like you. He can speak to your research. He can speak to your performance. He can speak to all of those things. So let him be there. Hopefully, you all have good supervisors. Then number 2, it is not a do or die thing, but I'll always recommend have a professor write for you. At least one. At least one. It's not a do or die rule. It's flexible. You can have 3 doctors write for you. But I'll always say that have a professor, because a professor, it's not about a professor's affiliation with you. At least he knows that this person is good enough. Those professors are busy, they are high rank and all of those things. But when you say a professor writes for you, it's really encouraging. Then number 3, which is what I'm going to talk about. I would say for people that are going to write for you now, in as much as they know you, they don't know what they don't have an idea of what the school is expecting from them. The school might give them that note, but they're not really. So what I did, which I think most of us did, was get a draft of what you want them to write. Get a draft in accordance with what is expected of recommenders on the school's website. Get a draft of that. Write it, because some of them say, they'll tell you, write and send to me. That's a popular thing for most of them. Maybe they're not saying maybe their letterhead paper or something like that. Write and send to me. So they write, they send to you, you put a letterhead, then they will just go and upload and maybe fill any maybe top percentile, blah 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 blah, all those things. So please you can do this draft yourself. Don't like, I'm busy. So don't worry, I'll work the draft. Give me a letterhead. I'll put it on your letterhead and I'll send it to you. All you need to do is just go online and upload. It makes it easier for them because these people are doing it. It's not only they're helping, if you remember, other people are also disturbing them too. Help me, help me. So try and make the work as easy for them as possible. Then number 4 is please start keeping in touch early with these guys. It's not wait time for applying now. You don't know them from anywhere. I'm like, hey, sir, so it's me that your student from 2020 set. That boy, that tough. I'm like, so you're just coming to them, fire brigade, whatever. So if you're going to apply for fall, please start from now. So how are you? How's your family? I just sent you. I remember how you taught me in school. Just take this small letter. Do you know what you are doing? You are building rapport. You are building access. So please, go to someone who knows you. Get them drafts and start keeping in touch early. And if you can, please get different sets of people so you don't stress a particular set too much. And also, I'll also say that at least if the whole professional whatever, you are going for an academic adventure. Sorry, you're going for an academic journey. It's not a professional journey. If it's maybe a workshop or whatever, that's fine. But you're coming for an MA or PhD. So out of 3, please let professional pass 1. That's my take, my personal take. Let the 2 or more, all of them, come from universities because you're going for academic work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll be going from Mr. Biodun to Mr. Henry, then Ms. Belikis on the same question.
I mean, I feel Mr. Lucky said everything on recommendation for real. Like I'm sure of what, but I mean, just make sure you try and use professional email addresses. Make sure your recommender has professional email address. It's very, very important. Don't just go and put someone that has anyhow email address, some funny looking email address. But I mean, basically, and yeah, it's also important the school guideline. I mean, it depends. I feel recommendation letter depend on the course you're studying, basically. I mean, some course, if you're going for a PhD, probably you want to have professor or you want to have someone in the academic space also recommend you. So, but I mean, Mr. Lucky said virtually everything. I mean, mostly everything, but just make sure you recommend the people who want to recommend you. I mean, there are 2 ways. Basically, sometimes they'll have to write a letter on your behalf, send it to the school. At times, school will just send them a link. They just fill the information and then the school get the end results. But just try and make sure your recommenders have professional email address. That's what I can say.
Yes, thank you so much. That's very, very important. Please, no babyforlove@gmail.com as recommender, please. Those are not professionals, please. Yes, I had the experience of using Gmail, some of my recommenders because I was going to the teaching field and education. I had to use some past principals and head of school in which I've trained their teachers to prove that this is my place, but which was quite a unique case, like you mentioned. It depends on the course. Mine was quite unique because I had to use some of those professional, and some of them didn't have their school email is just for formalities and couldn't be accessed. So I had to use Gmail, and even at that, the school name has to be there and the Gmail clearly retained, but not something for love or for these fancy Gmails we normally have while we're growing up. And even for yourself, please, if you're applying for graduate school, please create a personal email that is professional. Your first name and maybe abbreviation of your last name, or start with your surname and abbreviation of your first name. Anyone, please. It's also very, very important. Not bookiefforlife@gmail.com. There's just this perception. You don't want to give them that wrong bias about you. And it's always very, 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 very important to do that. I just wanted to mention that it's always cool to see at podu.edu, at theorganizationName.com, and it gives that respect. And please, also one thing I wanted to mention before we forget is also do not tick when you are applying for US or Canadian schools. Do not tick that you want to receive the recommendation letter when you are filling in your recommender's details. That shows you do not trust your recommender. If you want the copy of your recommendation letter, please ask your recommender to send it to you personally. But in the school form you are submitting, please do not tick. They will ask you, do you want access to that recommendation letter? Please always tick no. If you tick yes, it shows you do not trust your recommender. And that's from past experiences of scholars who have finished and trained other scholars, they said it doesn't really show well. And a lot of people have been portraying that. I just felt I should mention that. Thank you so much. So go to Henry and Belikis.
Okay. For the recommendation letter, this is like the hardest part because it can make or mar your application, your entire application. So for me, I had a very bad experience with the recommendation letters because most of my professors, some professors I went to speak with, they told me that I have to pay. Like I have to pay money to get recommendation letters. And this is like per school, not like I'm paying you to like all the schools I'm applying to, you write the recommendation letters for me. Like I'll pay you per application. And I was like, no, I can't do this. So I had to, God willing, I had to find, about 3 professors told me to pay. Like it was traumatizing because I've spent like most of my money doing wares, GRE, stuff like that. So I had to look for just one professor, and then I paired it with my business professional recommendation from my business. So that was how I was able to scale through that phase. And also, like Lucky said, always have a draft of what you want your recommendation letter to look like or what it should contain. Because a friend of mine, she submitted a recommendation letter. She requested for a recommendation letter from our professor, and when she went back for an edit, the man flared up at her and told her that, do you mean I don't know what I wrote? He said, I've been writing recommendation letters to schools in the US, in Canada, and you're coming to tell me that you want to make an edit. And honestly, he stopped. He didn't recommend her again. He told her to remove his details from our application. So that was how bad it got. So for me, I just feel you should have a draft of everything you want your recommendation letter to look like and send it to the professor. If possible, like you said, like Lucky said, go for someone that loves you. Like we've seen candidates where the supervisors just give them access to the email and they just submit it themselves. Like do whatever you want to do with the recommendation letters. So that's another one. So choose your recommenders wisely. And yeah, that's all I have to say for that.
Okay, Obasanjo, sorry, let me interject and build on what he said something quickly. If perchance you are lucky enough or someone is kind enough to give you access to the email, so most schools will give you this I've forgotten the term now to classify it. This I don't know now, where they will tell you academic excellence, top 10, top 5, top 15, and productivity, top 10, top 5. And there's a word they call it, I've forgotten that word right now. But when you see that thing, please don't be tempted to put yourself 100, 100, 100. Please, please, please. No, you're not AI. You're not an angel. You are not God. You can't be 100, 100, 100. So let's say they give you 5 things. Say, for instance, they give you creativity, top 5, top 10, top 15. They give you writing ability, top 5, top 10, top 15. So out of those 5, at least you can put top 5 for like 4. But don't give yourself top 5 in everything. It's unrealistic. Number one, if you tell the school that this supervisor is biased, trying to force his way, trying to force you into the school. And number two, it can even speak to the fact that you had access to that thing because you're trying to flag yourself as the best. Nobody is the best. So if perchance, just always cut yourself down to 10 or 15% in one of them at least, and look for the most, maybe the least strategic one. Maybe collaboration or whatever. Give yourself lower, then give yourself the tops there. Thank you.
Okay, so just to jump in before Belikis come in around the technicalities and ethicalities of supervisors giving you, your professors giving you access to your email. I do strongly advise not to submit yourself. Just like you have mentioned, the top 10 and all those top ratings. And also because we have seen cases in news where they have actually revisited and tracked IP of submission, and students' admission had to be revoked. So, should in case, yes, we know some of our supervisors are not tech inclined because of their age in Nigeria and all that. Normally, what I advise is ask the research assistants to help the supervisor submit it on their behalf. Feel free to give a draft, is allowed. But sometimes submitting is always that there's this technicality, and not all schools go to that deep review. But most times when school go that deep and they find out on the long run, especially most times when a student have maybe a slight academic misconduct and they need to check further history backwards, it sometimes do not help the students in the past, and that is why they send the link directly. Unlike UK schools allows you to upload the application, the recommendation letter yourself. You just upload it. So there are those slight technicalities that are involved. But however, just ensure you give a draft. So I always tell people, some of my supervisors and my recommenders ask me for my SOP before they recommend you. So some professors have that requirement. They said they needed to know. They don't want to recommend. They don't want to put their name behind any student that is not that good. So they requested for a complete SOP before they recommend. So there are some technicalities around that. Yeah, Belikis.
Okay, so for recommendation letter, I will start by saying students should build their network. It is very important. When you're seeking recommendation letter, you can actually seek recommendation letter from your professors back in school, or probably where you've volunteered, or people you've actually done something with, you've worked. Few of my recommenders for grad school were actually people I've worked with research in international schools. So you can start by actually building your network, because that shows credibility of you as a student for grad school. Utilize LinkedIn. Like I always tell people, LinkedIn is a very, very professional space where you can start to show yourself and put yourself out there. Start building networks with people with LinkedIn. Look how you can come in with those professors, that how you can actually add to their work or what they are doing, and then from there you can actually seek recommendation letters from them, and they can actually recommend you based on the fact that they've worked with you, they've seen your experience, what you can do, and actually put you out there and sell you very well. So that's what I would say. Build your network is very important. If you don't have good terms with your professors back in school, you can supplement it by building your network with these social media spaces, how you can connect with people globally, and how you can also want to like help in the research space. You can actually tell them you want to help them with their research, you want to do this. You're not seeking them to pay you, you just want your name to be there or something, so that they can actually recommend you later on when you need them. So build those spaces, build those networks. It's very important, because when you don't want a situation where you are trapped, you don't have professors back in school who would help you recommend letter, or they are giving you terms and conditions like, oh, you need, and you don't even have the money to pay them for recommendation letters, because at the time you'll be applying to so many schools, probably 20 schools or 13 schools or more than that. How much do you have to start paying them? So you need to have other sources or backup that can supplement for you. That's why building your network is very important. So that's what I would say for recommendation letters.
Thank you so much to all the panelists who have talked on this recommendation letter. Also, just to add, you are going to, especially if you're applying to US schools, you are going to be submitting a lot of recommendations, like Belikis have mentioned. I did submit over 40 recommendation letters for my total applications. Some are 3, some are 2, and also to mention, aside just building your network, please update your recommenders. If you get the admission or not, please update your recommenders. I've seen recommenders really complain. A lot of time we get admission and they find out on LinkedIn. When you were pursuing them for the recommendation and everything, you were following them in their inbox. You got the admission, the scholarship, and you went quiet. Before you know, I am in the US. I am excited to announce I just resumed. There's one word we normally use on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've forgotten that word. I am
I'm
active.
chilled.
I am opportune and all those tick words. And your recommender is like, when did she get the admission? Is it the one I wrote? So part of what I did that worked for me is I got the school I'm in, I got the admission in January. Yeah, January plus. But the funding came late. Before my funding came in, I already emailed all my supervisors. There were 16, there were over 16 in total. I emailed each of them because I applied for 16 schools. I had over so many recommenders. I emailed all of them personally, like personalized, not BCC, not copy, 200 people copied in one. No, I emailed each person, dear, blah, blah, blah. I am grateful for your recommendation to this school, and I got admission to X, Y number of schools, and I really appreciate each and every one of them. In short, I emailed those that also supported me with transcripts, which are transcript officers in schools. And I kept that relationship because if you're coming into academic world, you must be humble, like my professor will always say. No matter how, you will need recommendations again to go for postdoc, to be a full faculty. You need people to recommend you again. So I emailed each and every one of them. Also, when I resumed school, I tagged each and every one of them on LinkedIn. If you go to my LinkedIn with my full name, you will see my posts on my recommenders. I tagged, some of them sent me message on WhatsApp. Oh, I saw your post on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. And that is how to build relationship. Most time we do the first relationship building before the summit, but after that, we forget that part. And also, if you did not get into the school, write them an email and say, oh, thank you so much for your recommender. I didn't get in this time, but I'm looking forward to trying. Some will happily reply and tell you, oh, please, I'm available to write. I can see the passion. Because life happens. You get. So please, I just wanted to add that to just cover that up. I don't know if anyone has anything to add again, because right now we are going into the questions from the chat box on recommendations or what we have said.
Okay, so I wanted to ask Basanjo, do we have, is there provision in the outline for like, so where do they start? Like, how can you start? I know the question on start to
Yes.
finish. Okay, you have that question there, right?
Yeah, it's not on the time, it's not on our drafted questions, but it's on the chat box, which I'm going to the questions right now. Okay, so I think this is where I stopped. So one of the speakers was speaking about his low degree program before the network threw me out. How did you use your research to augment that, please? So I think Mr. Henry, this is the question
Yeah.
for you.
My grade wasn't that low, but it was low for me to aim for a fully funded program. So, how you can use your research to build your profile is to align your research with the program you're going for, the interest of the program. So previously, like I mentioned, I was going for communication, and most of the fully funded programs I see in, most of their research is in health communication. So I had to undertake research in health communication, and that way I was able to update my academic CV and my profile. I had to join associations too. So membership in associations can be a way to prove that, oh, this person is aligned to this particular research interest. So just endeavor to build your overall profile, not just your research, but also volunteering and membership in associations can also help you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So that question is for Ojo Semasa. I hope you have your answer. Thank you, Mr. Henry, for that. Please, what are this is from Blossom? Okay, your surname, Blossom, yeah. Please, what are the timelines? Can you get the admission first before reaching out to professors? Okay. How do you know if to go for a master's or a PhD? Okay, very strong questions, actually. Very, very strong. So let's start. What are the timelines for applications? Do one speaker want to jump on that?
Okay, so I'll say this. If you want to come, so like now, we are all looking forward to fall 2026. Fall 2026 is starting from August 2026. So that means the application timeline you have from fall 2026 would have been a few schools start August, but the bulk of the schools start September. So the bulk of the schools start September and they run through December 1st. That's the timeline for bulk majority of the schools. A few of them run till January middle, January 15th, 14th, thereabout. So that's the timeline. So you should know at this moment now that if you are aiming for fall 2026, you know you should get to work immediately because you don't even have time anymore. You have less than a week or like 10 days to December 1st when most schools will shut the application cycle down. But then, even if you miss that, don't not to be worried. A few schools still extend till January, middle January, and early February. But I know that by first week of February, most schools have shut down for the cycle. Then you expect admission results by let's say April, late April, early May, thereabouts. So that's about the cycle. What's the next question, please, Obasanjo?
Okay, the next question is, can you get the admissions first before contacting a professor?
Okay, so please, this is non-STEM, so I will say this: the fact that you have a professor is a boost to your SOP. You can put a paragraph, can be like, I have also liaised with Professor XYZ, and it is evident from the website listings and my interactions with him that we have similar research interests, and he has expressed a willingness to supervise me in the event of my admission. Something like that. It shows that you're proactive. It shows that you know what you are doing. So the fact that the professor has given you that assurance to take you on that, because that's a problem. When they admit you, who will now supervise you? So if you just bring you in like that without supervision, so logically get a professor first. Logically, get a professor that you can now talk about in your SOP that is willing to supervise you and all of that. Is that all? Or is there another one again on the line?
Okay, yes, there is still one more question there. How do you know if to go for master's or PhD?
Good, good. This is very insightful. I think this is arguably the most important question that we can ask here. A master's is to show some level of expertise in an area. A doctorate is to show thorough expertise in an area. I'll say it again. A master's is to show some level of expertise in an area. A doctorate is to show thorough expertise in an area. So going by that, a master's degree will lend itself favorably for someone that likes the idea of school and wants to go a step further. A master's will lend itself favorably to someone that is in the professional space or official space that needs to get a certain height, a certain promotion that is closely tied to the master's. A master's is for someone that yeah, I want to get a feel of what school after undergrad is like. So you're able to get some level of mastery, like the name implies, and all of that. But then a PhD is, I want to permit to use the word life sentence to a great extent, in the sense that once you're getting a PhD, you are telling yourself inadvertently that this is what I want to do with my life. To a great extent, more often than not, it is difficult for you to see people coming for a PhD for promotions or to get professional elevation or whatever. More often than not, 8.5 out of 10 people that are doing PhDs are doing it because they want to delve into the academic world.
Yeah.
More often than not, because originally, if you are going to the academic world, it is zenith is what you should aspire for, become a professor of whatever you are studying originally. So if you're doing a PhD, you're telling yourself that this is what I want to do in my life. And you should be very clear on that. Very, very clear on that. Because you can't come and spend 3 to 4 years of your life, some people 5, some 6. You don't spend that kind of time and then what you want to do with it is not clear in your head. You don't know, you are like, okay, this or that or that or that. So please, a PhD I say it's a life sentence because it's going to determine the direction your career, which is almost always academic, would take. And a PhD, if you come with a shallow mindset for a PhD, trust me, the program will expose you. Quote me anywhere. The program, because it's rigorous. The rigor is such a way that, in short, I don't want to say, I want to talk too much. In such a way that if you don't have passion, wallahi, you go come as in it will show. Because you start seeing, let me give some more context and I wrap up. In my program now, I'm reading 14 books for 5 months. 14 books for 5 months, averaging 300 pages each. Some more, some less, but 14 books of 300 pages each. And to do a book review on all of these things, my 10 papers, 100 points. At the end of the month, I'm meant to do a collapse book review of the 14 of them, ending me about 1,400 points. Thank you. Just to digest that one first.
Okay, thank you so much. Any panelists want to jump on any of these questions?
I mean, should I do a master's or PhD? I mean, aside from depending on what you want to do, your strength matters a lot. I have some PhD friends say like you will hardly see them when it comes to social activities. They will tell you, Biodun, I have paper to review. And mind you, plagiarism here, it's a great offense. If they give you a paper to review, they don't want to say anything related to that. You went to copy somewhere. AI will not help you. So it depends on your strength. It depends on the reason why you want to pursue a postgraduate degree. Just like Lucky said, if just probably for career advancement, okay, master's is recommended for you. But if you really want to find yourself in the academic world, because 5 years, 6 years, and you just joking with your life, I mean, you don't want to do that. So it depends on what you want, depending on your strength. Don't say because, oh, my friends are doing PhD, I want to have that PhD title. It depends on your strength. And mind you, even I know most PhD courses, right? They will still retake you some things you ought to know in your master's degree. They will still include some, I think like the first 2 years of the PhD program or so, they will still take you like master's degree student, basically. So it depends on what you want to do, the reason for that postgraduate, and please know your strengths. Know if you are the type that you can sit down and read, because America, studying in America, in the United States, you will work, especially for PhD. I mean, I'm thinking of taking up my PhD, but for now, let me still gather some work experience. So now, so you are going to work, you will study, you will present. Nothing like I'm having stage fright. If you are a PhD, you will go for seminars, you will write research, you will go present your papers. So know your strengths matters a lot.
Yes, thank you so much. I
I
just
want to
remembered.
add,
Okay, yeah, before.
I want to add that for master's program, it's basically for industry experience. Why a PhD program, it's majorly for those that want to teach. Like you want to become a doctor, you want to go into the academia, you probably have to go for a PhD. So for the PhD track, you have the first 2 years you have to be under the studentship status, and after that you advance to candidacy, and you have to do an oral presentation of your research, oral defense. You do the main research, then you now defend, and it's really a lot because I have some PhD friends and they complain all the time. I'm like, if they want kill you, come out for there. Because you like it's really, I really feel for them because it's a lot. You have to review papers, analyze, present. Some even have teaching assistantships, they will teach together with the research they are doing. So it's a lot. So before you go for that, be prepared and know that it's you are committing to something that isn't easy.
Obasanjo,
Yeah.
can we be very, very real and open? Like, can we say unpopular opinions?
Well, you can say unpopular opinions without, but however, confidential opinions should be kept because this is a live session, remember, and it's on
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I
we
just
lost
wanted to
some things. Yeah, all right.
yes, I know, I know. In short, and for people who are, just to give you a tip, most of us are from one group, and in that group we lament, like we come to pour our heart. If you are doing PhD, you will go through a lot, and a lot will go through you. That is how we used to describe PhD. It's not
Zombie, they're after your life. They're after your life.
like,
They're after
bros.
your life.
There is no that. I tell people the truth. That's just the truth about PhD. So we do a lot of lamentations in that group, but that's just for it. But thank you to all speakers who have spoken on that. I'm going to be going to the next question. Um, okay. So how do you easily switch from one discipline to another, and what's the tendency that it can be viable? Okay, so I think I'll speak on that because I have experience. So my undergraduate is in business administration, BSc. My master's is in international business, but my PhD is in education. So yes, I did a like total shift from business school to education. But how do I switch was not by mistake or anything. I switched based on one, my experience. I have over 5 years to 8 years experience in the education field. I have close to 5 years experience, or even more than 5 years experience teaching in the classroom already. So I have very strong professional experience in the education space, and this supported my switch. And also, I have a professional diploma in education, which I did while in Nigeria to bring me into education. So Is it easy to switch? Yes, it might be easy, but the question is, do you have the requirements for it? Do you have the professional or academic backup to switch from one field to the other? And I think if further give context downwards, just to go back, he has a first degree in arts and humanities and currently have an interest in software engineering. How can this be tailored to my application? Is this transferable? Is this transfer of interest possible? Well, can you go and do software engineering as a master's or a PhD? Well, I would say yes or no. I would say it's quite hard because if you are going to core STEM field, you have to show in your transcript some experience that you have core, maybe chemistry and physics. So software engineering in professional learning is quite different. But when you are coming for these deep academic fields, do you have the mathematical background or maybe the physics background or the chemistry background that they need in this field? I am not so sure of that. But if you have strong experience, maybe you have worked with good organizations, you have very hands-on experience, you have gone for personal trainings, Coursera and all those stuff online that you can show, then I would say maybe you can do that switch. Maybe, or you have a course in, like in education now, people who are in STEM field can come and do learning design and technology because there we are talking of AI and technology and how it impacts education learning. So that is now quite different. If you can identify a course that really is maybe still domiciled in non-STEM field, and still have this long line of input, and like the supply chain. I know supply chain has a lot of calculations that they do in operations management and all that, but that is just my own view. I will let two panelists jump on that.
Okay, I want to add, I will say I'm an example too because
Okay, great.
I had a bachelor's in English and now I'm in business. Even when I came, I had to switch my research interest because I was focusing on marketing communication, but now I'm focusing on emerging technologies, AI, and extended reality because I want to move into the technology space later on in the future. So I feel you don't have to go directly to software engineering from a very different far apart field. So you just have to transition to something closer to that and then move to the software engineering later on. But you have to build a lot of experience basically for you to be able to achieve that. So
what I'll say is this. I'll say to that person, if you can, it's a bit complicated, but then, like he said, but our advice, come to the US or wherever you are going to without your qualification. Where once you are here, switching fields is not difficult if you are in the US or within the university already. Highest you go for one year or 18 months program that will prep you something like a first year in that thing, then you just transition into second year. But then you ask yourself too, are you really able to do that? It's not about switching. Do you think you can really do the switch? That kind of thing. So my advice is this: come to the US or wherever you are going to with what you have. That's your best bet because trust by the embassy, they are saying BA whatever, and they are saying your visa this one. You don't speak too much grammar. For the flash you blue, something like that. You understand? So just come here first. When you come here, you can now say, okay, fine, no, you can start sorting out yourself. I want to switch from here to here. They can help you. Oh, okay, you can do this. Start explaining your options. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think that is very, very important. So also just to add to what Lucky and Mr. Area said, there is cross-disciplinary research. You can still come to that your own field, the study you want to do in arts, and finding a way to put software engineering into your study, just like Belikis is doing mental health in sociology. There's cross-disciplinary. So currently I'm really deep into AI and how AI can come into teacher education. And my field is not, I'm not a core AI person. I can't code. I can't even write code to save my life. Know how to do anything on, you see all this automation AI, but I know how to use the front end. After the developers have developed it, I know how to use it. So I'm using that knowledge to now partner with those in engineering and all that, looking at how we can write research papers that can influence how AI is impacting teacher education. So you can do that. So I think we have spent some time on that question, and I'll just move on to the next. Take example, if someone has been out of school for many years and their career path over the years has taken them in direction completely different from their academic background, do you think relying on their education qualifications would affect their eligibility for their preferred graduate program? Well, before I leave it open for others to answer, whether you have gone far from what you studied before or not, you still have to put your qualification, no matter the field, because it is a basic requirement, especially your BSc must show. But if you are going for PhD, some will now require you to also bring your master. So it's a basic requirement. But on the part that, yes, for me, I think I am in your field, in your shoes. So I worked for 5 to 8 years or 5 to 7 years before getting my first master's scholarship that took me to Morocco to study before now coming to the United States. And so throughout those period, I wasn't really in the research field. I was basically in working in the nonprofit, teaching as a teacher. And I got fully funded master studies to go to study international business in Morocco. So I built on that experience. But however, even with that, my BSc degree still have to be submitted. Whether I graduated years before, 20 years or not, they still have to see that I have that qualification to enter the school. So it is very, very important to have that qualification, whether you like it or not. So I'll leave it to one more person to jump in. I think Abiodi, yes, I was planning to call you.
Okay, so this is one thing about schooling in the United States. They don't give you admission only on one basis. So they have these points and this grading system. So once you submit your degree, whatever you add, your transcript evaluation has a point, your SOP has a point, your statement of purpose. So they don't just give admission based on one, should I say one yardstick. They consider so many things. For the fact that we are you from Nigeria is an English-speaking country, you have a point for that. I mean, some countries, they will still ask them to do English evaluation. Some courses will require you write GRE. I know some courses will require you write GMAT. So your admission is not only on the basis on your academic or your background academic. They also, I know for MBA, for business schools, they look at your years of experience too. So your academic qualification, your years of experience, your statement of purpose matters a lot. Your recommendation too carries a point. So those are the factors they consider before you are being given an admission. So it's not only based on your past academic history. They look out for so many things. At times, they're going to be honest, now with the old father, they won't start scrutinizing social media now. Your presence on social media matters a lot. That is your personality. So it's very, very important you start reshaping who you are, your personality. I mean, for the meantime, if you really want to get admission. So they look at so many things, your social media engagement, they owe you, because for them to want to bring you in, they want to make sure they're bringing in the right candidates who is mentally sound, physically okay, and I mean, so it's a lot they consider when it comes to granting admission.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So I think we'll move because I still wanted to take the scholarship question, and we have the question just keep increasing in the chat box. So let's go to recommendation. Concerning recommendation, is it possible to ask a colleague who has an official work email address to do so on your behalf? Well, for me, I would say if the colleague has supervised you before, maybe the colleague has led a team in which you are in, or has led a project in which you are in, then the colleague stands a good chance to act as a supervisor in your role, or the colleague has been promoted also to a better position now, and that position oversees your department, so the colleague. So the major thing with recommendation is the person must have something to write that connects with you. It's not just knowing you on the personal level. No, it's about knowing you on a professional level. So most times you read some recommendation letters, trust me, and AI is not helping. So for those who is in the community WhatsApp group that we have created, I just saw an email in another group and I posted it there, where the admissions committee told the person their personal statement was AI generated, and therefore they will not be offering this person admission. So also most times when this person recommending you doesn't have personal relationship with you, they use AI generated content. They just go to AI and just write this emotional stuff, and a lot of these application portals now have this thing behind them. They have those checkers behind them, and they are saying 100% AI because the person doesn't even know what to write. The entire stuff, the person cannot even mention the location you guys worked on a project before. AI cannot just generate Ota or Ode Idiroko. AI cannot generate it. There are some names, some contextual names AI cannot find. It's hard for the AI to see those kind of context. It doesn't even know the spelling in Yoruba or in your local language. You understand? So I think we'll just move on from that. how to escape the visa soup. The visa soup is a different discussion. We will not go into that. The visa soup is when you have gotten admission. For me, I used to say something. Fight the first devil you are facing. You cannot fight the entire, let me use the word, quote and unquote, hellfire at once. Start with the devil you
do
are
we
facing
do,
first.
do we have plans to have conversations about the visa too? Do we have any plans for that too when the time comes?
Yes. We will definitely do that. When we have community members who are getting admissions, yes, we'll do a visa session that is unrecorded so that we can train them on how to go for interviews. And even interview sessions by January, a lot of you start receiving emails for interviews. December, January for those who submitted applications. Yes, but the visa soup is not what we want to discuss. It's even timing it soup. That's the challenge. But can you talk about departments that have issues with funding? Okay. I had my first and second degree in public health. Which other courses can I look for into for someone that have every basic things like experience, research, and that? Okay. That question is like a 4-in-1. How do I identify whether to go for quality, qualitative, or quantitative research? Okay, so anyone can take this.
Okay. Qualitative research has to do with secondary data, meaning data that you don't get from participants, maybe previous studies, literature reviews, while quantitative has to do with primary data, which you obtain from participants. So I would say you have to understand your research for you to be able to select the right methodology to use. If your research is on if it involves participants, a primary study would probably be the most appropriate for your research. So definitely you have to use a quantitative data. While if it's just a literature review or a meta-analysis, you can use qualitative, which is secondary data. So it depends on your research topic or research interest, I would say.
Yes.
So to add to that, qualitative, I think also this thing is field specific to a great extent. It's field specific. So more often than not, humanities and art tilt towards qualitative more often than not, although there can be exceptions, while science and STEM tilt towards quantitative because they are dealing with samples, maybe this whatever in the lab, this culture, blah blah blah, et al, all of those things. So then, basically, I think the person asking question, please go to Google. Google is your friend. Qualitative research, you will see everything you need to need. It's comprehensive there. But then I'll still speak to it. Qualitative research simply means taking one source, taking one item or subject, looking at it closely for intrinsic values or items that speak to what you're looking for. So I give you an instance. Reality in Chimamanda Adichie's novels, for instance. Then you are looking at that novel now, you will see elements of war, you will see elements of love or romance, you see elements of hate or abuse. That was not your business. You are looking closely for elements of history in that novel. So qualitative means looking closely at something, taking it one by one to look for the inherent intrinsic details that speak to your research subject. Quantitative now is all about getting a set of items that you're now using to okay, I'm out of this population, 15 are used for this, while the remaining 30 are used for this. Also, there are some researches that might involve a blend of both qualitative and quantitative. That's what we call mixed research method. But then I think that's a bit steep. At this level, your professor will guide you when you get to that stage. Because at some point, you need to be qualitative, at some point, you need to be quantitative. For instance, if you're in art doing field work, you're going to delve in this area. Field work, you are doing interviews, you're qualitative, you have to get samples of some things, maybe artifacts or whatever. So, but please, overall, go to Google, just type it in, qualitative, whatever. You will see papers, you will see different things, co-pilot, they will give you everything you need to know. Yeah.
So I would like to say a few things. I would say build your experience in both qualitative and quantitative, because when you get here, it all boils down to the professor you're working with, your advisor. They will determine and shape your research question if you're going to tilt towards the quantitative side or the qualitative side. So build your experience while you're still going for your grad school journey. Build your experience within qualitative and quantitative. So when you get here, the professor is going to guide you towards the part, because the professor you're going to be working with can either be a quant person or a qualitative person. So you have to have those experience in both so that it can be balanced. That's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much. So just to cap off in the quant and qualitative, I also think you should also know which part your department mostly focus on. So there's a high level of, like, you see 70% of this department or this college uses qualitative or quantitative. It's also known in a way. Education, we are used to qualitative a lot, but a lot of people now use quant also and the mixed research method. We also have poor quant and all that. So you just need to know. So for if you are going to education, we do a lot of qualitative. But we also have quantitative researchers within education, faculty, and college, a lot also. For me, I'm tilting towards qualitative right now and going deep into it. And yes, sometimes you're also required to collect primary data, whereby you interview teachers, you collect their free informations and all that. We also go for IRB approval. But majorly, look at Google them and look at the one in which you feel will work well for your research. I think that's one way to look at it. Okay, that thing that you want to research, what do you think will give you the right data to prove your research purpose? Because this is also very, very important. And the mixed methodology seems like it's growing so fast. A lot of research fields now, and we're coming mixed methodology a lot. But it also depends on your advisor. Very, very much. It depends on your advisor. Yes.
Mr. Please, I wanted to ask, can we speak about writing sample? Because that's like a major aspect of non-STEM application. They usually expect you to submit a writing sample. So I know most persons don't have like writing samples or how to create a writing sample. Or so when you're done with the questions, probably you could just add that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Because we have about 30 minutes more, I'm trying to do another means. So I think we will just have panelists go into the chat box to reply. We did this in the STEM session, where panelists just go in and reply chats while we move on with other questions on our list so that we can catch up with time, because the question is not ending. I think it just keep growing and everybody keep asking questions. And also, please post also what you learned about the sessions, not just your question. Post about what you learned, your feedback, as we are at the final 30 minutes of the session to round up. Post your feedback, post that. So right now we'll be going to our own question. Although this question was not really there, but because of the picture I sent to the group, I will be asking the question around AI. Because that post, for everybody that have viewed that post, it is really shocking to see that the school flagged it. The group I got it from, there's a lot of discussion whether the school is right, the school is wrong, or what kind of words should be termed as AI. So I'm not going into technicalities. But however, a lot of times, can we, as people who are already facing the realities of studies or who have gone through the study, can we advise on AI usage in academia? Especially for those who are applying into it, because I know a lot of this system, the schools are building in the AI checkers currently into their systems. It's getting stronger because now someone can just submit 5 applications in one day because AI can generate all the SOPs, right? And so can we just speak into this AI in generating this document or in writing document? What is ethically allowed in SOPs? And everybody will speak SOPs, the papers, and even the recommendations. And how can applicants avoid or use AI ethically, not to put themselves in the negative light of AI usage? Thank you. Anyone can start and anyone can pick up next.
All right, so I guess I always start. So let me start again. AI is a big deal here for starters. It's a big deal here. In my school, because every week for the PhD I do, and for most PhD programs everywhere, we submit papers every week, like 2, 3, 4 papers per week. So because we have what we call a canvas. My school has what we call a canvas. On that canvas, once you submit your paper, within the next 2 seconds, Toton is already running your paper through. Within 2 seconds, you see your plagiarism check instantly within 2 seconds. There's no even, and God will now bless you. As it should not be higher than, let's say, 9% or 10%. Anyway, the score that you will get, first of all, go first tell you. In my school, they've had someone used AI to write a PhD dissertation, a PhD project, AI. They kept asking, but he said, no, they had to. They didn't only send him away, they flagged his name at BSS and at whatever. So that guy can't even get admission in any school in the US again. He has to go to UK or Canada or whatever and start sorting himself out. So please, AI, for me, I feel that with all due respect to our academic and qualification backgrounds, I feel that at graduate level, you should be able to make coherent sentences for starters. It's not even about whether you're art or science. You've gone through nursery, you've gone through primary, you've gone through secondary, you've gone through undergrad. At least you should be able to make coherent, logical, complete sentences, noun, verb, subject. And that's basically all you are doing. For me, I'm telling you, but I didn't use AI for these things. I didn't use one because I'm thinking which AI won't take past my own voice? Because now what AI hides your voice. That voice that Babaliko is talking about, that voice, AI hides it. That it sounds good, it sounds polished. But if you're talking to somebody, you want to hear the person's soul, the soul for what you're writing about, the voice, the drive. AI doesn't have it. AI can give you polished fact and arranged articles, but that human voice, it will be lacking, and they will know. These people are seasoned academics for many years. They can see when it's AI. I will leave the checker out of it first of all. So please, I will advise you, if you can, just write this thing yourself. But highest, when you do, what I need to do is go back over and over again. That's why start early. You will see some, okay, comma is meant to be here, full stop, semicolon, all of those things. But then we have the ways we can use AI. For instance, Grammarly, and which other one again? So for my part, I'll tell somebody, use AI for maybe your sentence construction. Maybe they say there's meant to be a full stop here. Remove this comma, it's fragmented. Include this full stop, it makes it more compound. That's all. Or maybe, but then this is also risky. If you are smart enough, you can use AI to give you prompts. Alone, alone. For instance, you know what you want to write about? Maybe impact of AI on primary school children in the US. Type it on AI. AI will give you a prompt. That's all you need to do. Pick that prompt now. Sit down with that prompt. Break those prompts into subsets that will form your objectives and how you want to go about the study. That's the best I can tell you to do with AI. Because that way, you are now dissecting what AI has given you to put your own voice into it. So aside from maybe checking spelling, punctuations, and all of those things, I'm not a fan of using AI for all of those things. Please take the pain. I'm sure that most of us, when we think about school, that means at least you're able to do the bare minimum of having sentence, question, all of those things. Take the pain, start early, go through again. No AI part your brain. That's not popular. No AI part your brain. Go through it again, make your corrections and all of those things. But if you must, I advise limit it to sentence correction and also maybe at worst writing prompts. Get the writing prompt, then just expound it in your own words and terminologies. That's what I will say. Thank you.
Okay, I would add that the reliance on AI is skyrocketing. The brain drain caused by AI is a lot. Everybody is relying on AI to write their SOP, to write their recommendation letters. Would I say, should you use AI or not? Yes, I would say you should use AI, but then what are you using AI for? You should use AI to review what you've already written, ensure that it is coherent. I have two professors, two lecturers in my department. One is a big fan of AI, and the other doesn't allow anyone use AI for our coursework. The one that likes AI, she's like, I want to see what AI is generating. So you use AI, you use this model. She's even the one introducing us to different models of AI. And that's just it. But then when using AI, you have to be ethical, you have to review it because it just pulls information from the internet and you have to manually edit it, review it, and make it sound human. Because barely reading an AI generated text, you can tell that this is AI generated, and you don't want the admission committee to start manually reading your text and all. So they usually just, because it's a lot of work, most applications is a lot of work reviewing applications. So they just check the AI of, um, for example, your personal statement, and then if it's I, they just say, oh, this person relies on AI. We can't accept this type of student. We can't accept this candidate. So when you write with AI, or if at all you should write with AI, you should manually edit it, make it sound human and more presentable. That I would say.
Okay. Any other person wants to jump, Belly Keys?
Yeah, okay, Belikis, you go. I'll come after.
Okay, so for me, I would say you can use AI, but then the ability for you to think independently should be the first thing. Before you even start consulting AI, what can you think? What can you make out? What drafts can you make out a draft by just with your thinking process? So AI should only be like a last resort to refine what you have in mind already or what you've thought about. So maybe probably you want to refine, maybe, and also understanding what the AI does, like what the AI is bringing to you. Because some AI will just produce things, and then when you read it logically, it doesn't really make sense. So you should be able to think independently for yourself. Okay, this is what you want to do, this is what, then AI can just guide you in refining and making it better, not writing for you. Because once you use AI, you're going to lose your voice in your SOP or whatever thing you're doing. Your voice will not be there, and that is one thing that is very important, making sure your statements or your essays are sounding humanly. So yeah, this is what I have to say for that.
So regarding the AI, I've been opportune to be tutored or lectured by a professor, one of the professors who started the whole AI stuff. And then I remember then she told me that there is no type of AI you want to use, they would definitely know. So I mean the logic to AI. AI, it has its own good and some bad side, but don't try to rely on AI too much because let's even talk aside from even trying to gain admission into school, once you're done with school, even securing a job, people now use AI to write their what's this thing called when you're applying for a job. I've forgotten this documents. People
Application
now,
letter.
yeah,
Application letter.
yeah, application letter, yeah, and then there's this name for it, and then people use AI to write their
Offer
resume
letter.
now. Offer, yeah. So I mean, so don't rely on AI too much because, and that is where I feel people will rely on AI too much. Like people will want something like ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. I mean, if you know there's a deadline to submit your SOP, why don't you just start? If you can write a paragraph or two paragraphs today, the next day or 3 days after, pick it up from where you stop. I mean, you can always have your Microsoft Word save on your laptop as you're writing, just save it, go back to it. So I mean, you don't want to do that because, mind you, they generated this stuff. They know about it. There is no type of AI you want to use. Either the advanced AI, the paid for, the unpaid for, they will definitely know. And as you are using your AI to write this document, they also have AI in their own system now that kicks out your application automatically. And that's why you see most people are applying for jobs before 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they get a rejection letter already because every company now has AI built in their own application and recruiting system. So as you're using AI to apply, they're using AI to to disapprove your application. So it's better you just take your time, start early, write on it. If you have people you can share to review your document, I mean, if you give 1 to 3 people to review a document, all of them will have something different they want you to add or take away from it. And you can now combine the all resources together to push out whatever you want to push out.
Okay, so that is good. Thank you so much for that. So let's go to funding. Scholarship is the major question. I've seen questions on scholarship on the group. on the chat box. And so, how do one get TA, teaching assistantship, research assistantship, or even fellowship to fund their education in master's or PhD? So we can share from our funding experience. Anyone can start?
Okay, so I'll say for research assistantship and teaching assistantships, it depends on your experience. Some departments would say we can't offer you a teaching assistantship because you don't have a teaching experience, or some will say when you come, we're going to have a teaching training that will give you more experience before you can start. So personally, for me, I had a graduate assistantship that was supposed to be a teaching assistantship, but because I didn't get the visa early enough, because of the appointment dates and all, the training for teaching assistants, the training, I missed that, so I was unable to attend the training. So when I arrived, they had to refine my graduate assistantship to a research assistantship. Will I say which is better? I think I prefer the research assistantship because I don't have to teach students yet in my first year, but probably I will do that in my second year. But for now, the research assistantship just involves you working with a professor in their research papers. So that's like the basic step. How do you get a research assistantship or teaching assistantship? You have to check the schools you're applying to. If you want a scholarship, you have to ensure that you dig into the website, send a message to the graduate coordinator requesting for opportunities, and they're going to let you know if they have a teaching assistantship, research assistantship, or if they don't fund at all. So they will inform you, and then you know how to tailor your applications. So most times one strategy that works, you can go on LinkedIn and you search the name of your program and the school, and it will prop out profiles of previous students or current students in the program. You can reach out to them, inquire how they can help you in getting an assistantship because they've walked through that part, right? So they can be able to guide you on what the faculties are looking out for and how you can get one. So I think that strategy works. So connecting with people on LinkedIn, it's something that really helped me a lot. So that's one strategy you can employ to get a RA or TA.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the next person. But before that, please drop your opinion, comments, and views on how how the session went and what you learned. Is good for us to use that to review future sessions. Thank you. Yes, over to the next panelist who wants to take this.
So on scholarship, I mean, the most important thing is confirming from the school you do. Most schools will have it on the website, you know. For my school now, for my own program, it wasn't fully funded. I had some partial scholarship. And then one thing I discovered now was that they gave us different amount for scholarship in the same class. So once I now analyze from analysis, I now discovered that they gave us different scholarship based on our statement of purpose, our SOP. Like that was what they used to allocate. Some departments, some schools, we already have, okay, we're giving out, let me assume we're giving out like 100,000 scholarship for this coming sets. So they begin to allocate percentage based on the strength of your application. Not all programs will give you scholarship. So most programs, instead of scholarship, they give you TA, which is teaching assistant. Some will give you RA, which is research assistants, for just to tell you the meaning of TA and RA. So for the scholarship, research about the school, check up on Google schools that are fully funded in the United States or whatever country you want to go to. Search. You also need to do the search by yourself. You just don't sit down and then wait for someone to give you information. I mean, go online, check on Google what schools offer this, what program offers the scholarship, you know. And then one thing is, I just not only about scholarship. I know some of my friends from other programs, especially PhD, no, let me just say masters, who got scholarship or who got teaching assistant, but they couldn't maintain it. Now, if you're on scholarship, if you're on T or if you're on RA, it depends on your academic strength too. Once you're in the school, your first semester, if you don't have a good grade, they take you off the list, and that makes you stranded. So if you're going to look for scholarship funding, it's going to be on the school site, research. If you have friends who go to that school, reach out to them. Something, I want to do this. How do I get funding or how do I get scholarship? Thank you.
Okay, anyone going next?
Okay, so I think it's also like Abiodun said, it is department specific. You have to make this inquiry to know. For my school, when I got I was given a graduate assistantship. It was when I got here, I was assigned as a TA. So some of this thing you need to like ask the grad coordinator, make your research and know it's actually very department specific. Some of them they'll give you an RA when they give you the admission. So you already know what you're doing. But for me, it was when I got here that I know the duties and tasks I'll be doing as a TA. So you need to like check in and also make those requirements yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, just to also add to that, for my own school, you do not apply for the scholarship. You apply for the admission for my department, and the department helps you apply for scholarship on their behalf or on your behalf. However, some also have to apply for internal scholarships. It just depends on how you come in. And so for me, my department was gracious to help me apply, and I got a fellowship, and the fellowship is the one funding it. In the fellowship, I will do both research assistant and teaching assistant, both in the fellowship. Currently, I'm doing research assistant in the first year, and in my second year, I'll be doing teaching assistant and might also switch to GA depending on the funding and availability of funding. And also, just like what Mr. Abiodun mentioned, also it depends also on your academic standing. The academic standing for all, whether TA, RA or not, you must maintain a very high academic standing. If not, it will be withdrawn and you have to pay a large number of money for your funding, which really is there. So I think we have touched all the important feats. Right now we will just go a bit into
Obasanjo.
okay.
So
Yes. Oh yeah.
I'll have to go at the moment, like I spoke to you earlier
Oh
about.
sure.
I
Sure.
want to encourage everybody on the call. You can do this, believe me, right? I think as a group, keep asking your questions, keep engaging. No question is foolish, no question is small, no question is big. People like us and other people as well would always be on hand to reply. And this thing requires doggedness. You have to want it because it's going to task you. Um, I give you a small context. I was working in Orange Group before I left Nigeria. Orange Group because I make Delta soup and all of those things. So I'll come back from work and I'll rest till like 9. And then by 9, I'll start applying till like 12, 1. And I'll go back to bed and go. So you have to really want this. But trust me when I tell you this, right? When you come here, the effort you put in will not count for anything that you will get when you get here. Even anything financially, at least do the dollar to naira equivalent. Even anything that can be a good place to start from. Start counting some of the things that will do for you. So I also want to encourage you, stay strong, be inquisitive, look for as many schools as possible, start early, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, bro.
Okay, thank you. But before you go, please share your social media handles so that all panelists share their social media
Oh,
handles.
I said I was going to show my CCTV, right? The academic CV for format.
Well, I think you can, if you want to give them the academic, you can share it on the WhatsApp group because it's a live session. I'm also
Okay.
careful of
Okay,
that.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, sure,
Yes,
Okay.
you get.
Because,
So
yeah,
yes, we are
that's
in
fine.
we are in the last 10 minutes, and I would just want every panelist to give their final advice. So Lucky has started,
Yeah.
he has rolled
All
that.
right. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll go next to Belikis.
So for my own part of the advice, I would say everyone should be ready to do the hard work, and you can do it. just because and prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. It's not going to be like a smooth journey. You're going to see tons of heartbreaking rejection letters and all like that. Prepare your mind for it. Is something that is inevitable in this process. It doesn't come all smooth. So prepare your mind. It's a journey. It's a continuous journey. You're going to, and when you're willing to embrace the journey that you want to learn from this process, is going to make you have that drive to keep pushing regardless of what the fate may be. So that is what I have to say. You can do it. Keep striving. For many of us that have been here, this was not our first try. And for me, like, this is not my first time of trying the grad school process. And yeah, keep trying. Let that zeal be there if this is what you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll go next to Abiodun.
So mine is you have to plan. And then when I say plan, the P, you have to pray and prioritize your options. Honestly, I can be very spiritual at times, To start this step is not easy. It's not because it's not how smart, how rich, or how educated you are. To be honest with you, it's just grace, it's just favor at times. So the P there, you have to pray and prioritize your options. Identify the list of schools. Don't just shoot into one schools. Prioritize different schools based on the course, based on what you can get from the school. The L in plan, you have to learn about the schools and the course is very, very important. When you go for your visa interview, they will ask you why choose this school. They will ask you why choose this course. So you have to learn about the school. You have to learn about the course. You have to know the rating of the school. You have to know the funding they have and the future opportunities after graduation. Some schools have affiliation with some businesses, some companies. There's a neighboring school. I went to St. Louis University. WashU has a lot of strong affiliation with so many businesses here in St. Louis and even United States. So that's very, very important. Then the A in plan, you have to apply and always follow up. Apply every time. Instead of just browsing on social media, doing so many things. Social media is nice. I appreciate it. Take that time. Some schools, you can even apply on your phone. You can send some applications on your phone. You can now start uploading your documents on your laptop, on the desk, or whatever it is. So you have to apply and always follow up. It's very, very important. And then the end in plan, never give up. Never give up. It can be stressful. It can be demanding. It can be financially demanding. It can be mentally draining. Never give up. And one thing is, I know most of us, whenever we want to japa, we see it as a secret. Like, but I would advise you have somebody you can confide in, have somebody you can discuss your plans with. I mean, I know people would be like, because of my village people, I don't want them to know my plan, blah 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 blah. But it's always good to it's always good to have a confider. It can be somebody close to you, it can be one of your siblings. Just have somebody. I mean, that person will help to motivate you because, to be honest with you, it is a quiet cry. If you're planning on schooling abroad, it's not easy. You can't do it alone. Forget that you don't want people to know your plan. Just have one or two person you can easily confide. So that is what I have to say. Plan, pray, prioritize, learn about the school, apply, follow up, and never give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Henry?
Yeah, Mr. Abiodun has said most of the things. I would say I'm an advocate for community. Like, always find yourself with like-minded people. Like, there's groups for application fee waivers, there are groups for research publications. Just try to follow up with people. You need people in this journey. Even the visa stage, there are groups you should join. Just find a way to interact with people. Even when you come here to the US, you still need people. So you just need to find your community, a community that is um, that aligns with what you want. So just meet, go with people, go with the flow because it's a very demanding process. That it's going to require you a lot from you mentally, physically, and financially. But what I would say is don't give up because at a point for me it was becoming depressing because the rejections were there. So you're going to encounter rejections. It is normal. It is not something that is unexpected. You should expect it, but then just know that you just require one yes, and a yes can change and rewrite so many no's. So I would say that is my advice. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Always improve yourself when you are making applications, just look for ways to make your application better and give to people to review too. You write an SOP, send it to someone to review. In fact, send it to multiple people to review. That's what I have to say. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You'll get there.
Okay, thank you so much, all panelists. And for my own advice, I would just say thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. And yes, do not give up. Trust me, the journey is lonely. It's a very lonely part. Sometimes you are alone in your room crying, writing, your friends are partying outside, and you cannot join them. Not because you can't join them, but because you know what you are pursuing, right? And it's motivating you. And that is why we built the community. So we know the fear of village people, like has been mentioned, and you don't want to share with people. Now you have a community. Do not wait for us to post. If you see an opportunity on Instagram, social media, or LinkedIn, copy it and post it on the group. Let others apply. The sky is very big and everybody can join. And also feel free to ask your question. We might not have all the answers. Trust me, we are busy. We are busy with work, with studies. Sometimes we might not post in that group for long. So it's not this WhatsApp group where we tell you every morning you are thereby motivated to perspire to Maguire today. Nobody has that time. Even us, we need motivation that is regulating the group. We need motivation. So it's a group for you to build community. You can ask people for who is interested in your research to join you in your research, share opportunities. So we are giving you that community not to be regulated by us, but for you to own it yourself and share what you think will make people progress and share your concerns. Oh, I'm having this challenge. Your friend might be the one, another person of the community might be the one that is the one to answer. There's no all-knowing in graduate study. All the advice we have given you are mostly related to our experience. The moment you meet scholars from China, Russia, their advice will be totally different because their process is different, or Spain or France. And that is how it is. But however, it can be a lonely journey. So ensure that please that you are keeping tabs with your mental health, you are checking on yourself, and don't burn out. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. You might not get it this year, you might get it next year. That is how it works. I had over 27 rejection letters before getting my first master's degree stuff. So I kept applying and kept improving. Okay, what did I think was wrong? And kept doing that self-reflection. But if you say, oh, I got one rejection and that is over, no. Sometimes that does. And trust me, we did many applications. And I know some people who did only one school application and they got into that same school. And so that is where the idea of prayer comes in. So I always tell people of faith still, pray. Walk like there is no God. And pray like you have never walked. That is how I do it. Walk as if you are the only one. Like if I don't do this thing, I won't get it. Then now pray like you have never walked before. Pray for grace, pray for mercy, whichever religion, whichever tradition you pray to, or culture, or wherever you're coming from. Pray. Prayer works. They are definitely unseen that are being controlled. And therefore, at least I'm not a pastor. We don't have strong spiritual way. We can call the pastors, the imams, the worshippers, and the leaders, the priests in our various tradition and all that. So this would just be my advice. And remember, nothing good is easily done. They are pumping almost $80,000 on you per year on the scholarship. They require the best. And so keep improving yourself. You cannot underestimate that. Every day ask yourself, how can I get better? How can I get better? So spend time on social media, watching movies, which are good for your mental health, but also spend time on learning, researching, and getting that experience. So we wish you all the best, and special appreciation to Mr. Biodun, Mr. Henry, Mr. Lucky in absentia, Miss Belikis. Thank you so much for taking 3 to 4 hours of your time, or close to 3 hours of your time in the weekend. I know weekend we use it to cook for the week and get our energy back. So thank you so much. And I'll definitely be reaching out to you all on the WhatsApp group. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely time weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye.